It's This Week in Film. I'm Nick Pananto. I'm with Ray Radaminki. Rejoining the team is Tony.
Hey! Oh, man, it's good to be back. I love the new studio, guys. This is insane.
It's It's 6 months old.
Yeah.
I guess 9 months, almost 9 months old now, but it looks great.
Love that you've done with it. It's great.
Thanks,
Very
man.
comfortable.
It's amazing what you can do once the dead weight is gone.
Right. Dead weight of Charlie.
Oh, wait. I was talking about Tony. But... So,
I missed
Charlie.
Blood Gulch. It's blasting. I love it.
I forgot about the Blood Gulch.
Yeah.
We don't even play the same part of this opening theme song anymore. That song that you're listening to right now is like a minute into the song than what it used to be. We start at the breakdown now, not at the beginning.
I love it.
This is great banter.
Yeah, at least we get to experience more of the song. It's a great composition.
Great song. Ambush and Rattlesnake Gulch is the name of the song.
Whatever.
Yeah. Tony, how have you been?
I've been great.
Where have you been?
I took a leave of absence from the show to go on assignment.
Ray, what did you see
All
this
right.
This week... This week, I watched Point Break.
Awesome. Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze.
Classic.
Actually, I watched...
No.
I watched the Point Break with
No, I don't want to talk about this movie.
Edgar Ramirez, Luke Bracey,
My favorite.
and Ray Winstone.
Oh, wait, he's a real guy.
Yeah.
God.
And he has absolutely nothing to do in this movie. Completely wasted character.
Is he the second Punisher? From Punisher War Journal?
No, that's Ray something else. With a W as well. Directed by Erickson Core.
Ray knows all the Rays.
Right. Every Ray in the film business I know.
Oh, they're part of an exclusive club.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like the Illuminati.
Erickson Core is the director who also directed Invincible. Did you guys know that?
Really?
Oh.
I never saw Invincible, but I hear it's all right.
It's not as good as the garbage-picking, soccer-kicking Philadelphia phenomenon.
I'm going to need the full title.
Right. And written by Kurt Wimmer, who also wrote another remake that we recently talked about.
Total Recall.
Ah.
So that right there gives you a little idea
Yeah.
about what this movie's going to be like.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a remake of Point Break.
It's like a guy remade a movie after watching it on mute.
Right. Remake of Point Break, the 80s classic that we all love.
Mhm.
One of my favorite movies of all time. And it takes a little bit different of an approach. It has surfing in it, but the bank robbers aren't really bank robbers. They're extreme sports guys. And they are basically robbing Peter I can't think of how to say it. They're robbing
Peter to pay Paul.
robbing Peter to pay Paul, or robbing the rich to give to the poor.
It's almost like a Robin Hood scenario.
Right, Robin Hood scenario, right. And Johnny Utah, so all the names are the same. Johnny Utah.
Which is garbage.
Right.
Because it
Ridiculous.
literally is the only connection to
Right.
Point Break.
So Johnny Utah is not a football player from
He's
Ohio
not a-
State who blew out his knee.
But what is he?
He is he is a dirt biker, right? Yeah.
What?
This whole movie was like an ad for the X Games.
He's a dirt biker who was a famous like extreme dirt biker, and then is like doing this like extreme thing with his friend in the beginning of the movie. They're like riding along this ridge that like nobody's done before. And they're riding along this ridge. They make it to the end and they jump off of the ridge onto this like rock formation that is like an island basically. And they both make it, but the friend overjumps it a little too far and falls to his death.
No.
Okay, so full disclosure, I saw this movie as well. I felt like that beginning part, and now correct me if you think I'm wrong here, I felt like that whole beginning part was just a full ripoff of Cliffhanger. the beginning part of Cliffhanger
Yeah, when
The whole
somebody
scenario-
falls, yeah,
Really?
reminded me a lot of Cliffhanger.
right.
Now that's a good movie.
That's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Didn't you guys already talk about that on this?
I feel like
don't-
we did.
I don't know. I think it came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
might
make
have
a
been. It might have been a
webpage
set
for
of
it.
tomatoes or something.
Oh, yeah.
there
I
you
think
go.
You're right. Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
not
I
as
can hear
good.
Keith, I can hear. I can
So
hear Keith saying Stallone hanging off a mountain. It's great. Next movie.
so Johnny's friend dies, and this causes him to join the FBI. Just like that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
What would you want to do with your life now that your friend died?
So flash forward, I guess they say 5 years. He's an FBI young recruit, just got out of the academy or whatever, and he is looking to get into something, and he finds out about these extreme sport athletes who are robbing these various places and taking the money or items like gold and stuff like that and giving it to the poor. What he notices from the files that he's reading is that
exciting file.
right, the
reading.
files is that these guys are attempting to complete the Osaki 8, which is a list of 8 extreme ordeals to honor the forces of nature.
Is it real? Does that sound like a real thing?
Yes. This guy Ono Osaki created this thing, and he only was able to complete the first 3. And these guys already have completed the first 3. So this immediately piques the interest of Johnny Utah. And he needs to get on this case because he's an extreme sport athlete too, and he wants to, see what these guys are up to. So naturally, he's put into, deep undercover.
Of course, yeah.
And he's paired up with Ray Winstone, who plays Gary Busey's character.
Okay.
And
also in The Departed, right? Same guy?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, the departed, as we call it on this on this show. Yes,
It's like the
and
fourth
he's
week in a row.
he's a great character He's a great character actor, and he's just thrown away in this movie. Like he has
He had nothing.
yeah, he has nothing to do. Like Johnny meets him, they discuss stuff briefly. They go out on a boat to meet up with these. Johnny realizes what the next step is in what these guys are going to do, and there's this huge swell developing in the ocean in France. These huge waves. So he knows that's where they're going to be. So Ray Winstone and Johnny Utah get on a boat and they drive out to the middle of the ocean, and there's a huge party going on with a yacht. There's a big yacht. There's girls everywhere, and these guys are surfing these huge waves. So that being said, every action sequence in this movie is incredible. They get real stunt guys to do the real surfing, the real skydiving, the real wind surfing, the whole everything. So that part is really cool. The surfing scene that where this takes place is incredible. The waves that these guys are surfing are crazy. They're getting towed in by jet skis. So Johnny sees Bodie surfing these huge waves, and he's like, I got to get in there.
Bodie's the Swayze dude, right?
Right. That's played by Edgar Ramirez or Edgar Martinez, I think the guy's name is. Edgar Ramirez, yes. So he goes in, gets on this huge wave with him, and they're surfing in a crisscross thing, this huge wave.
Jump.
But then Johnny falls, and it looks like he's gonna drown. And Bodie jumps off of his board of a wave that he was gonna finish the wave. He was gonna finish this part of the Osaki 8.
Yeah.
But he risks his life
No.
to save Johnny.
Beautiful.
He gives up his dream.
Right. And this brings Johnny into their circle.
Oh, it's a connection.
Right.
Right. He saved
Now
him. Now he's responsible.
Now he's
for
suddenly a part of this group of bandits.
Banditos.
So, wait, true or false? You rewind to Point Break of old, where they're on a classic scene. They're in the beach, fire going, playing a little bit of football, and then he gets
Tank girls there.
gets tackled in the ocean. They recognize him. Ohio State Buckeyes.
Johnny Utah.
Does he get recognized as the
Yes, he
X
gets
Games
yes,
guy?
He gets recognized
Yeah,
on the
of
boat.
course. It's a
X
straight
Games guy.
ripoff.
All the friends all the other members recognize him, but Bodie doesn't.
Mhm.
Bodie doesn't know who he is.
Nah, man, he's in touch with nature. He doesn't watch
Right.
TV.
He even mentions, he's like, YouTube? He's like, nah, man, I don't watch YouTube. So immediately he's like, no questions asked. They know who this guy is. They don't think to like check up what he's been doing at this time.
Would you
wanna
go
come
for 5 years?
You want to come in our group? I mean, I was thinking about this. That is stupid, but like the original movie is kind of like that too. Like
sure.
same thing. Like they don't really look into what he's doing. So anyway, same way as the original Point Break is. He gets involved with these guys, and what happens is they start like doing like stunts. They start trying to complete this Osaki 8, but while they're doing it, they're not really. They kind of throw away the whole we're stealing stuff and giving it to the poor thing for like 40 minutes.
Really?
And they're just doing stunts.
Becoming best friends.
Right, becoming best friends, and you know, he's completely cut off from the FBI, which I guess happens in the original movie too a little bit. But yeah, the same type of thing. And what I found is what happens is a lot of scenes in this movie are very similar or the same as the original movie. They just take place in like a different setting. So there's one scene when they're I forget what they're doing. I forget what it is, but anyway, Johnny ends up like revealing himself to Bodhi, just like in the original movie, and he chases him through the woods. And he hurts himself, he falls, and just like in the original movie, when he falls
out his knee,
Yeah.
knee injury.
yeah, when he falls
And he
like
loves him so much
and
that he
like-
can't shoot him.
right in like the gutter part in like L.A. in the original
Yeah.
movie, and he shoots into the air.
Yeah.
That exact same thing happens in this movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like I was like, don't shoot into the air, don't shoot into the air, and then he did it. I'm like, oh my god, it's like the same exact scene.
All I can think of is that scene in Hot Fuzz when I think of that scene.
I've never seen Hot
Oh,
Fuzz.
dude, Hot Fuzz is the best.
But Ray, let me ask. So we go back. So obviously this dude has his shirt off for like 75% of the movie.
Right.
Nice.
And you see, like, of course,
He's tatted up a little.
yeah. And of course, you see right on his chest, tribal tattoo. And immediately you think,
Douchebag.
awesome. Oh.
Well, he's an
Anyway.
extreme sport guy. I mean,
Right. So I'm watching this movie and I realize that's a weird looking tribal tattoo because most of them look normal.
Are you talking about Johnny Utah?
Yeah. And then I realized that's no ordinary tribal tattoo. That's the mountain that his friend died on.
Yeah, I didn't
Right
notice
on
that
his
at all.
chest. Yeah. Why don't you go back and
No,
watch it for a second
I
time?
need to go back and watch this movie again. No, that's a nice little Easter egg that they threw in there.
Sure.
So maybe this movie's a little smarter than I thought.
He always takes his friend with him.
So anyway, there's a love interest, just like in the original one.
Tell me it's still Lori Petty.
It is
It
not,
is.
and her name,
Hi.
her name is actually different too. She's like Shamshmara or
Chakra or something. Yeah, it's very earthy.
This actress is like she barely speaks, and immediately they're having sex. Like it's like she dives into the ocean, he follows her, like they're having sex and they're like in love immediately.
That's extreme.
Which was ridiculous. And like he is friends with these guys immediately, which is ridiculous. Now I get he's doing like extreme stuff and like it's life or death, and they're doing things that like bonds them because like they're trying to achieve nirvana, is what they say, from doing all these stunts.
Yeah,
but like
makes sense.
everything's just like rushed, and I mean, like I said, the scenes of them, like the scene where they have the wingsuits on and they jump off this cliff and they're like flying through this like ridge. It's incredible. And I was reading up on like the actual filming of it and like the guys that they got to do it. They basically have 5 guys in wingsuits like flying through this like ridge that's like very narrow, and it's like it was extremely dangerous. And apparently like around the stuntman community, they're saying it's like to this day it's like the most dangerous stunt ever performed like live
Really?
on film, because like just how much was going, like these guys are flying at like 140 miles an hour in like wingsuits and just like trying to stay away from each other so they don't crash into each other.
Right.
Apparently they did like 60 jumps to get like all the footage that they had. One guy had a camera on his head that was like 15 pounds, and he had to wear this camera to get the shots.
That was my next question was going to be. Is the movie just look like it's shot with GoPros?
Yeah,
or-
it does. But I was reading like I said, I was reading up on it, and this scene they didn't want a GoPro, but they wanted an actual, so they have an actual red HD camera attached to this guy's helmet. And he had to like change everything that he did, because I mean that's so much weight on your head, like change the way he was gliding and everything like that. So that stuff was really cool. The surfing scene is really cool. The skydiving scene is really cool. The dirt biking scene to open it was really cool. Like all the action scenes are awesome. It's just the movie itself is just terrible, and it's like it's similar to the original, but at the same time it's like the acting's bad, and like it's basically like they're just waiting to get to the next action scene,
right?
And they're just filling it with like little piece of dialogue here and there. Like the Bodhi character, the guy who plays Bodhi, is just like so empty. Like Patrick Swayze, like that was just like a perfect character for him. Like he played it like so well. And this guy's just like quiet, doesn't have much going on. Like he just there's nothing like cool about him at all. He's like just like this quiet, like earthy guy who like is trying to find nirvana by doing all this stuff, and it's just not. It doesn't pay homage to the original movie at all.
Yeah, he got the earthy part down, but he didn't have the badass edge.
Right.
Like he couldn't turn it on.
Like the mysterious guy. Yeah, it just didn't. It didn't work.
And it lacked a serious amount of Anthony Kiedis.
Absolutely. And Gary Busey obviously was great in that movie, in that original movie too.
All talking about this movie did was make me want to watch.
Right,
the original. Yeah,
which is just great.
And maybe that's what it was intended to do.
Do you see this movie like a year from now? You going, I want to watch the new Point Break again?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like the action scenes are great. There's a scene where they're robbing a bank, and they're using kind of like take a page out of Heat. And they're robbing this bank with like assault rifles, and there's like a big standoff outside the bank, which that was pretty cool.
And they put the helmets on, and it's the
they have the
president's
masks on, on the helmets of their dirt bikes.
Right.
So that was like the same.
They have
thing.
newer presidents.
No, same thing. Like Ronald Reagan,
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter. So that was similar too.
This movie shouldn't exist. It should have been Art of Flight 2. Right. Should have just took all the narrative out of it.
Yeah. Is
that like an IMAX movie?
Art of Flight is probably
like a snowboarding video,
one of the most incredible snowboarding videos you could ever watch. It was on Netflix for a while, and in fact, like they go to such remote places that Netflix actually made a full season on how they made the documentary.
Right.
And it's very
There's a second one. There's a second one coming out soon, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're in the process of filming it now. It takes forever for them to do this stuff.
Really, really sweet.
That's cool.
But yeah, you should check that out too.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, Point Break. You can watch it. I mean, it's entertaining to a degree. I mean, you're just gonna laugh at every piece of dialogue and like the story and just how it's like just because I watched if you know the original, it's way easier because like you know what's going on. Like if you've never seen the original, this movie would just be like you would be lost because you didn't know what was going on.
Right.
It took itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
Not enough overacting.
That's the same thing I said about Total Recall.
Yes. It was tried to be grittier and harder, and it's like Point Break was a fun movie. Like it was funny.
Yeah.
There was funny parts. Like Gary Busey was like very funny.
Yeah, he played Gary Busey.
Right.
It
Exactly.
should have still been Gary Busey.
Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, do I recommend it? Maybe. Check it out if you want.
All right, great movie, Ray.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. We'll save Tony's movie for last. So this week, keeping with Ray's action-adventure movie theme, I went way back to 1951. Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn, and the African Queen.
Oh, nice.
This was a very good movie. It's definitely shows its age at every turn, but it is
Black and white?
No, it's filmed in glorious Technicolor.
Nice.
It's a beautiful film, and the version that I watched was a restored Blu-ray of it. It's still shot 4:3, but it's very good. Humphrey Bogart plays a drunk. Katharine Hepburn plays a missionary. They're both in this African village in 1914, and it's the outbreak of World War I, and the Germans come to this village in Africa where they're serving as missionaries, and the Germans round up all the local Africans and like they burn down the village basically, but leave Katharine Hepburn behind.
Okay.
And so she's just kind of sitting there. Her brother has been murdered, and Humphrey Bogart shows up. He drives this little steamboat, and he's like, "What happened here?" And she goes, "The Germans came. I want to kill all of them." And he's like, "All right, well, let's get out of here before they get back." So they get in the boat and they start going down river. And basically the two of them hate each other. They just hate each other, and it's great. And it's that old school kind of hate where they're both very polite to each other, but when they get around the corner, he's just like, he's a drunk, so he's just, he's just making fun of her.
It's very snarky.
Very snarky, but it's also turn of the 20th century, so they're both very prim and proper. Like he always calls her Miss, and she always calls him Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Artwell. I don't remember his last name. Antwell or something like that. And her hair is always up and always done. You know, it's one of those movies. But then halfway through the movie, there's a switch goes off where you can tell they go, well, they got to fall in love, right?
Right.
Now it's based on a book, which I clearly haven't read, and maybe that happens in the book too. But you can just tell at about the hour mark, they just fall in love. It's like they hate each other, and all of a sudden, oh god damn it, they're
Here
in
we
love
go.
now.
Yeah.
Maybe they realize that they love each other.
Well, they go through a traumatic thing. The boat goes over a waterfall, and they survive, and then they're both like, "Oh, I'm so happy," and then they kiss. But it was the worst screen kiss you've ever seen, where they just mash lips together.
Some of those old time movies.
It's like an old time movie kiss.
Yeah.
But anyway, the boat continues downriver. Eventually, they get they go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and then the movie ends. And it's a good adventure story, especially for the time period, and considering that in 1951 they shot this on location in Africa. A lot of it you can tell is shot against like a projection screen because they did shoot some things in London, but much of the film is shot on location, which was difficult for everybody. I was reading into the making of the movie, and that's almost more interesting than the movie itself. So John Huston was the director, and he and Humphrey Bogart were renowned drinkers, and they're the only two people in the cast that didn't get sick because they refused to drink water. They only drank whiskey.
That's ridiculous.
The whole time. Everybody else drank like local water and got dysentery at some point, including Katharine Hepburn, who said she's never been sicker in her entire life. And Lauren Bacall was there, who was Humphrey Bogart's wife. And that's when her and Katharine Hepburn became best friends, is because they had to like deal with this movie. The shoot was extra long. And the story behind the movie is pretty interesting if you want to read up on it. But I would recommend checking it out. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's a fun action movie from the 50s.
What made you watch this?
It just came across. It's just I've never seen many Humphrey Bogart movies, and I've always wanted to see the Maltese Falcon and the African Queen.
Maltese Falcon is great.
Yeah, I've seen the
great
Maltese
flick.
That's what I hear. I just have never gotten around to them. I might watch that next week because I almost watched it right after this one. I had a lot of time this weekend.
But we actually spoke about this earlier, but the boat in the movie is actually docked in Key Largo, right? And it's a tourist attraction?
Key Largo or Key West, somewhere in Florida.
Yeah.
It's a tourist attraction. And the ride in Disneyland, Jungle Cruise, is based on the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, which is neat. I'm going to be going on a trip to Disney World in the next couple of weeks. And
must be nice.
Yeah, why have any money? And I'm excited to go on the African Queen ride.
Yeah.
Because I know I've been on it when I was a kid. We went down to Disney World, but it's just like a riverboat ride.
Sure, yeah.
But now you know like the story behind it a little bit. I don't know if it's an official adaptation, but that's what the IMDb trivia page said. And you can't lie on the internet.
No. Everything on the internet is true.
But yeah, it's definitely a fun movie to check out. It's very sharp. It's very to the point. There's not a lot of fluff in it. There's a few places where they could have trimmed here and there, but you can totally see why they didn't. And Humphrey Bogart won the Academy Award for Best Actor for this movie. It was his only Oscar that he won. And he won it against... This movie came out the exact same year as A Streetcar Named Desire. And Humphrey Bogart beat out Marlon Brando for Best Actor.
Wow.
And if you haven't seen A Streetcar Named Desire, Marlon Brando is phenomenal in it. It's kind of insulting that he lost to Humphrey Bogart in this movie. But I imagine if you think back to the time period, Streetcar Named Desire is more of a contemporary film, and it shows like the dirty sides of society, especially in the South. And maybe that wasn't as accustomed as just a riverboat drunk, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about, with the Academy, the Oscars, and people lose, great performances, and they lose out to somebody that maybe wasn't as good.
I mean, Brando eventually got his, of course,
right.
But
a lot of times actors don't win theirs for the movie that they should have won for.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to take anything from Humphrey Bogart, but there's no comparison between Marlon Brando in A Streetcar Named Desire and Humphrey Bogart in The African Queen. But definitely check it out. So, Tony, it's your first week back.
Yeah.
Better be a good one.
What movie
boy.
do you want to talk about?
I watched Deuce Bigalow Mail J. No.
No, let's talk about that first.
All right,
Deuce.
we can talk about Deuce.
But
that
tell
was
us more about Imperium.
Oh, well, all right. I watched the movie Imperium, which is the final installment of the Harry Potter series. Imperium, if you haven't seen the
Just
trailer.
kidding, of course.
It's Daniel Radcliffe. He plays an FBI agent who, oddly enough, looks exactly like Harry Potter as an adult. At probably the last time you saw him in the beginning of the movie, of course, with the horn rim glasses and the
Lightning bolt scar.
No, that wasn't there, but the crappy haircut was, and so he plays basically a desk jockey in the FBI, and he's he goes through emails and he finds like terroristic threats and things like that, and he reports them, and that's kind of how the movie starts out. And while the guy that he reports is being interrogated over like terroristic threats that he made, Toni Collette comes in. She plays another FBI agent who is dedicated to fighting white supremacist like groups. Mm-hmm. So she comes in and she basically says like, "Oh, Daniel Radcliffe, you seem like you're an up-and-comer. Like he wants more out of his job. He doesn't want to be just a desk jockey." So she convinces him. She's like, I have a very good gut feeling that there's something going on with this specific white supremacist group, and they stole this I think this chemical. I think it was called cesium, which is a crucial part in making a bomb. So they convince the higher-ups in the FBI to allow Daniel Radcliffe to go undercover. So he shaves his head. They get a CI who was
criminal informant.
Right.
Nice.
They get a CI who was in jail, who's part of like Aryan Brotherhood, something like that, and he introduces him into the to a couple skinheads. And so basically, these skinheads take him to this radio jockey who like is spewing out all this hate, and he thinks that guy is the center of like that's how he's going to find where the cesium is. And it basically just kind of spirals out from there.
Oh.
He gets introduced to like a couple more guys, and it kind of just loses track. Like in the like the trailer is cut in a very specific way where you think it's going to be this like, to bring it up again, this Departed-esque type.
The Departed.
This Departed-esque type movie where Daniel Radcliffe is this like is.
He's a rat.
Yeah, like
Mole.
you think he's going to get found out, and it's very intense, and it just kind of dies out like halfway through the movie, and they find the cesium, and it just kind of pitters out. And it was I was hoping that it was going to be something more than it was, and it just it was only released on video on demand, and yeah, I can't really say too much about it. It was a very meh movie.
The trailer made it seem like maybe I didn't pay very close attention, but like his goal was to bring down this white supremacist group.
Well, basically what you find out is like there's multiple sects like of this group of like these white supremacist group. There's like skinheads, and then there's like these guys who like form like a militia like in the woods, and they have like all these weapons. And then there's the guy there's a guy he meets later who's like civilized and he has a family, and like little do you know, he becomes like he's like probably the most dangerous one because he has like, you know, exact feelings on like what he wants to do and exact plans. So but yeah, not as good as the trailer made it out to be.
Oh, that's a shame. It looked like it was going to be like an intense,
Yeah. Would not
just kind of thriller.
Yeah, would not can't really recommend it.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be pretty good.
What about Deuce Bigalow?
Deuce Bigalow is always a good movie to watch when you literally have nothing else to do.
My favorite, I love the first Deuce Bigalow. I never even saw the second one, but the first Deuce Bigalow.
There's a second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, European Gigolo.
European, yeah.
Oh, right.
Wow, you got homework.
Yeah,
He's
great.
European.
I saw that movie in theaters a couple of times, and when it came to our cheapo theater, when there was still one in my hometown, that was when I learned that some movie projectors have masks that they're supposed to put up because it cuts the frame to the way it's supposed to be on the screen. And when we saw it, they didn't put the mask up, which meant that everything at the top of the screen was in the on screen.
Booms and stuff
We
like
could
that?
see the booms. You could see just like crew guys hanging out up there.
Oh.
And also, you know the scene where he dates the really tall woman?
Yeah.
You could see her quote unquote face. It's a guy.
Yeah.
And it's the dude from and this is just me going off my memory at the time, but you know in Die Hard 3, the tall dude who's like, he robbed us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that guy in like dressed as a woman.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like watching this in the movie, and I have already seen it in theaters. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And that's when I learned that some projectors are supposed to have a special mask to block out all that extra stuff.
That's fantastic.
That's crazy.
But,
I think
yeah.
I think I saw what was it? I think it was 40-Year-Old Virgin that I saw that it was like that, and I saw like a bunch of booms in the shot and stuff like that. Yeah.
It kind of really takes you out of it when you
Right.
as soon as
Like,
you
oh,
start
this is
seeing it, yeah. So Deuce Bigalow, pretty good.
I would recommend that over Imperium.
Yeah, I love Deuce Bigalow.
If you had to choose, if it was one or the other.
All right. Great suggestions, Tony.
I'll come back harder next week.
All right. Well, that brings us to everyone's favorite part of the show,
Yeah.
Ray's Random Ray Quest. And last week, Ray, your question was what?
What group of brothers? What are your favorite group of brothers from a particular movie? Could be two brothers, could be a bunch of brothers.
Four brothers.
Four brothers.
Movie.
We already discussed
Two
that last
brothers. It's just two brothers.
week. I watched
brothers.
Hell or High Water last week, and it was
Yeah.
two brothers, and they were a pretty good duo. So,
Ray didn't get the Rick and Morty references last week.
yeah, I'm not a Rick and Morty guy.
Um,
Sorry.
So first up, we got Matt M. Says Raymond and Charlie Babbitt from Rain Man.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Judy, she goes back to the well and uses Outsiders again.
Okay.
She says Daryl, Soda Pop, and Pony Boy. Stay Golden Pony Boy. Is that where that comes from?
Yeah.
I've never seen The Outsiders.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
She says parents dead. They have to figure it out so they aren't separated. Also, the brotherly love they have for the rest of the gang. I feel like that's how she wrote it. Dan M. Says Danny DeVito and Arnold from Twins. They were the awesomely bad brother combo. Jill says Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio from What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh.
She also adds Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly in Step Brothers.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy says the Hanson brothers from Slapshot.
It's another good one.
Then there was a little controversy
Oh no.
where Sam A says Sam A, Sweet Sammy C, and Barb F all say the Weasley brothers from Harry Potter,
Oh, come on.
but only Sam A says their names, Fred and George Weasley.
Ooh, somebody's a super fan.
Sweet Sammy C just says the Weasley twins. And Barb F, she says, I love Sam A's choice.
They
I
were
just wanted to...
they were brothers in Imperium. Well, they were part of the Brotherhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those same actors?
Yeah, same actors.
So it was like, it was the Harry Potter...
Yeah.
Was Dumbledore in it?
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't.
Dumbledore?
Weird turn.
Barb-
And they used their magic for evil.
Barb F also adds that she wants to go with the brothers from Legends in the Fall, which I had to look up and check because it's been so long, but Brad Pitt
yeah.
and Aidan Quinn,
Right.
or Aidan Quinn.
They go to war together, right?
I think so, yeah, it's World War One. One of them fights a bear.
Yeah. That's an okay movie. It's long as shit.
I loved it when I saw it, but I haven't seen it in years. Brad Pitt looks good in that hat. I will say that.
Yeah, when he's fly fishing.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out.
I got no shame. Look damn good in that hat.
I'll throw it out there and say the brothers from Ocean's 11.
That's what I said last week.
Yeah. Great.
They
Yes.
were great. Yeah, that was Ray's pick from last week. Mine was the Step Brothers, and Jill took that from me. So
What's the question?
we got a
this
problem now this week because
Right. We're fighting for who.
Ray and Tony are here now.
week? Ray,
I will gladly give Tony the honors.
I've got to bow out.
The
and-
look in Ray's face is like, if he takes my goddamn question,
Yeah.
the one thing in
And
my
I am
life,
willing-
and I am scared.
and Tony's third degree hasn't shined in so long.
Yeah, I feel like
don't know
Ray's
what's
random
about to
request
happen.
is on fire.
I mean, I got a question if you want me to ask it.
Go for it.
Wait, Tony. I think you should both ask a question, and then we'll have the listeners decide
Which one?
which one they'll answer.
All right, Ray, ask your question.
Fine. My question this week is, since I watched Point Break, the remake, and there was a lot of great action sequences in there, what is your favorite action sequence from a particular movie?
Oh, wow.
Off the top of my head, as I was thinking about this question, off the top of my head, a lot of the great action sequences, just like Point Break, come from bad movies.
Yeah, it's true.
The car chase in Matrix Reloaded is a very good action sequence.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. The car chase in Bad Boys 2 is also a very good action sequence.
I have never seen either Bad Boys movie.
Another terrible movie, but a fun movie. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a
seen
car
Bad Boys
chase.
2.
Car chase. I just thought of 2 car chases, but just like an action, like a 10, 15-minute scene of just like
Yeah,
something happening, action sequence.
most of Mission Impossible too.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I was going to say the beginning of Lethal Weapon 4.
With the fire guy?
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
Because he gets Murtaugh to get in his underwear.
absolutely. And
those crazy guys.
listening to rock music while he's just flaming everybody.
right.
Talk to me, Riggs. That's
I
when
need him to turn.
But
stand
that's
up and dance like a chicken.
that's my question.
Great question, Ray. Tony,
All right, the one that comes into my head is
you've had 15 weeks.
Daniel Radcliffe did not choose a good follow-up movie.
6 times in a row.
No, I mean after Harry Potter, he's obviously trying to separate himself.
It's so hard.
and
though.
come
I
out.
do really want to see that one where he plays the dead man.
yeah.
What's that called? Life? No.
Yeah, I know what
Dead
you're talking about.
man's.
He's like the guy's like riding him.
Yeah, because the guy's like going crazy because he's alone on the island and he imagines that he's. Oh, Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man, yes.
Yeah.
That does look good.
So my question is, what actor was at once once typecast into a role or was known for a specific role that came out and did another movie, good or bad performance, but what was an actor that did that you can think of that you liked or didn't like?
Well, the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite is never going to be anybody.
No, I don't.
Which is a
Napoleon
shame
Dynamite.
too, because he's great.
Yeah.
I love Blades of Glory.
Yeah, you know what? I guess he is pretty good in that.
Yeah, he almost played the same guy.
Doesn't matter. He can keep doing it.
Yeah, right.
Stick with what works.
Okay, so yeah, it worked for him. He was able to, move on.
It's a tough one, Tony. That's a thinker.
That is a thinker.
I think that's better than my question, to be honest with you.
Well, listeners, you decide.
The power is in your hands.
And I'm the bigger man to say that it's better than my question.
I like both questions. I'm excited to hear
Yeah, let's see.
what our faithful following have to say. And if you're not one of our faithful following, you can find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
Stitcher.
iTunes.
Can't forget about Stitcher.
We're on Google Plus now, Tony.
Google Plus.
Yeah, that's still a thing. Apparently, we're more popular there than on Facebook.
Did we get on Bing yet?
Yeah, we're like, if you search for us on the internet, we're at the top.
All right.
If you combine any of the 2 movies that we've done,
Bing us,
we're
baby.
right at the top of the Googles.
Bing.
I don't know if we're on Bing.
Bing.
You can find us at thisweekinfilmpodcast.com. And if you're listening to us on the Podcast Radio Network, thank you for tuning in. We're here every Wednesday night at 10:30. You can listen to us at podcastradionetwork.net or download the Cry app.
Crikey app?
KRY.
Crikey.
The instructions on how to make that work are on podcastradionetwork.net. And I want to give a big thanks to Let's Talk Flicks, who, as always, give us a great lead-in every Wednesday night. They come on at 9:30, and they're on until we start. Tony, plugs.
I got nothing.
Ray.
Boy Zero. I'm just kidding. I do actually have some plugs this week.
Let 'em.
Oh, okay.
Man.
I wanted to plug 2 of my friends' startup companies.
Hey.
One is called Skyscape Industries, which is a commercial drone company.
No way.
And they are your solution if you need an eye in the sky. So what they do is they send out drones, and they'll do anything from looking at floor plans of houses or anything, basically. Anything you need a drone for.
Mm-hmm.
Use it. And then the other company is called Chief Fire and Rescue. This isn't for many people that listen, but it's for all your industrial firefighting needs. ChiefFire.com. And then the drone company is www.skyscapeinds.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Check
Wow.
that out.
Real plugs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. And check out Boy Zero. It's available anywhere comic books are sold. That's Charlie's book. If you don't have it yet, just get it. It's pretty good. Well, I have nothing to plug. I'll say hi to my son Alex and my daughter Natalie. They listen to the show when there's not a lot of swearing.
Hello, Alex and Natalie.
Hello.
We didn't swear any that much tonight, right?
I don't think
Today.
so.
No.
Great. And if that's the end of the reel, yeah, I still do this. We'll see you. Stop it. Next week in film.